So I think anytime you see a Thor attack being performed by Luffy, he thinks of the Eniru facefall each time, and that gives him the power to harness electricity in order to pull these moves off. You think that's a joke, because it sounds like a joke. However, we've talked about this on the channel before, and I am of the belief that Luffy has had Toon Force for a very long time, and the antics ramp up as you go throughout the series, and you eventually get to Gear 5th. Spoilers for Elbaf, by the way. But the funny thing about this is that the same thing happens when he uses all of the Hawk-like attacks. The attacks that conjure fire, because when he performs Gum Gum Red Hawk, also known in some translations as Gum Gum Fire Fist Pistol Red Hawk, which is a bit of a hint, but he performs this on Hody Jones. However, he envisions Ace, because Ace, his brother, who is now deceased, had the powers of the Flame Fruit and the epithet of Fire Fist. So he attributes fire to his brother. And by thinking about his brother and imagining him, he is able to light his fist on fire and make it combust. Now, for the longest time, people were of the belief that this was friction combined with hockey. I don't think that's the case at all, because the first time that he does this, it's underwater against Hody. You see the fiery explosion fire out of Hody's back once Luffy makes contact. So, with that being said, the fire isn't normal fire. It's Toon Force fire or imagination fire, but it's not normal fire because it's, again, a blaze underwater. And people have countered and said, well, Sanji makes fire underwater. No, he doesn't. When the crew are fighting the Kraken and he performs Double Jumpy, it is heat. His leg is glowing, but it's not on fire. He is not ablaze. There's a difference. Now, keeping that in mind, the only time that Luffy has ever been in the presence of someone significant who uses electricity is Eniru or NL. So I think when he thinks about using a Thor technique, he envisages the facefall that Eniru made when he discovered that his powers don't work on Luffy. The funny part about this is that each canonical time that a Thor technique has been used now, the character in question who is hit by said technique performs a very similar facefall. Let me explain. During Dressrosa in the tournament against Chinjao, Luffy and Chinjao have a final clash. Chinjao, using the Hashoken secret art non-drill dragon non-nail versus Luffy's Gum Gum Thor elephant gun, Luffy wins out and pushes up Chinjao's head, resulting in a facefall in which Chinjao's eyes buck out, but his mouth is shut. This is a little different than NL's because his mouth is famously open during the facefall, but the eyes popping out are very similar. But then, this is not all, because way later in Elbaf, spoilers for Elbaf, by the way, but way later in chapter 1175, Luffy performs Gum Gum Thor Rifle against the Holy Knight, Shepherd Somers. And when that technique makes contact with Shepherd Somers, his mouth is agape and his eyes are popping out. So I find it very interesting that in both cases in which a Thor technique is done, it results in a face fault. And these two face faults are quite similar to the face fault that NL makes when he discovers that his powers don't work on Luffy. So I think when lightning isn't present, he does think of Eniru, and that thought of Eniru imbues his fist with lightning despite him being made of rubber, because it's a similar line of thinking to him being able to combust his fist when he's thinking about Ace. It's a little different in Elbaf, to be fair, because he's grabbing lightning generated by the effects of Loki's Devil Fruit, but the thought remains the same, seeing as how the first time he did a Thor technique canonically in the series, no lightning was present, but lightning was generated upon making contact with Chinjiao. Therefore, I still hold that when he's performing these techniques, he does keep Eniru in mind. But with that being said, if you're liking the content so far, hit the like button. And if you really want to keep up with me and my content, hit the subscribe button, followed by that bell so you never miss a video. But with that being said too, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.